Welcome to another battle report with Bill Dozer on Outlanders Gaming. And today I'm going to be playing against Devean on Universal Battle for a kill scenario game. And this is going to be a Kingdoms of Men versus Undead army kill game. So Kings of War, 2,000 points. And we've got what looks like berserkers on his left flank, and then a horde of bowmen there. He's got a wizard with some lightning bolt action. He's got some scouts with there's kind of shooty little scout troop there. He's got this water buffalo thing. I can't remember the name of it, but it's got a crossbow, giant crossbow on its back, bolt thrower, and it also is awesome in close combat. So once you cross the field to fight everything, they have crushing strength 2 and thunderous charge 2. So those things are really good. He's got 3 catapults, which are they're pretty shooty, and they only get 1 shot each. They hit on 5s, and if they hit, they're really good, but if they don't hit, they're pretty bad. He's got a champion there with a few attacks. He's just kind of an 85 point get in the way of my units guy. He's got a commander, which actually when we were doing our setup, it let him it was like D3 plus D3 or D6 plus 1 or something like that units. Or maybe it was D3 plus 1 units that he could redeploy. Anyway, he got to redeploy 3 units. I can't remember what it was, but he rolled that many, and he redeployed his catapults, because I actually had my army completely, the right half of the screen here was out of arc of his catapults, but then he went ahead and redeployed those. Then he's got some I can't remember what they're called or how to pronounce them, but they're really shooty bowmen or riflemen. They're a horde of them, and they are like the best unit in this game. So definitely an awesome shooty unit there. Then he's got some really good cavalry there. They've got thunderous charge 2, and there's just some knights, Kingdom of Men knights. One thing that we did make note of is he has 2 units of those troops of scouts, but scouts that don't have Vanguard. Can you believe it? They're scouts. The whole point of being a scout is to scout ahead, yet they don't have Vanguard. Okay, so there's the setup. As you can see on my right side, his left, I've got the wraiths there. I'm hoping they can fly down and take care of his bowmen quickly, along with his berserkers. I've got a Revenant King there. I actually took a new list this time. I was trying out some newer units, and just for fun, I thought, okay, I never used skeletons. I actually did start using skeletons in my games at the game shop on Tuesday nights, and I've got 2 regiments of them from the box set that I bought from Mantic Games. So I thought I'd start using them in Universal Battle too. They're not really that great. They only hit on a 5-up. They've got 4+ defense, and they are fearless 16, I believe, for nerve. But they've got a pretty decent nerve. They can't be wavered, and they're great for if you're going up against somebody who's got a lot of shooting. They can just kind of take hits and trot across the board. But as you see here, I got 2 regiments of those. The thing with this army, though, is I kind of just replaced units really quickly, and I didn't give them any. There's not a lot of shambling in this army, so as you can see, they're going to be kind of slow at speed 5. So I don't know. We'll see if that's a mistake or not. I've got 1 unit of zombie trolls. My necromancer, he actually has inspiring in this list, so he inspires the trolls and the necromancer and the zombies there. Still got my zombie legion. I always take my zombie legion. I love them. I took a vampire lord, not on a dragon this time, just by himself. He's only speed 7, and I forget that he's not flying. So he doesn't fly. He's just kind of goes really fast on foot, which kind of gets confusing later because I'm so used to my vampire being on a dragon and flying around the board. So, but But yeah, he's a pretty cool unit. Then I've also got a unit of Soul Reavers, another unit that I don't take very often. They're just really good fighting unit of vampires, and they're speed 6, which is pretty fast. They're not shambling, so they can get across the board pretty good, and they have crushing strength 2 and 25 attacks that hit on 3s. So I mean, that's pretty good. And also defense 5, which means they've got some staying power. Then I got my Lycanus and my werewolves. Just kind of want to get down there and challenge those knights. So there's kind of the setup of the board. And we got the kill scenario, and I went first. He actually rolled to win, but then I went first because he was like, go ahead and go first. So I moved up on the left there to kind of challenge his bowmen and his berserkers to come on up. We called the woods height 4, so I knew he couldn't shoot me at that point, so I was happy with that. Moved up the Revenant King. I moved up the skeletons. They didn't have any way of surging forwards without just that Revenant King, so they're kind of slow. I'm kind of realizing right away, oh, this might have been a bad idea with all the shooting he has. The trolls moved up. As you can see, the necromancer did as well, and so did the zombies. My vampire lord, he kind of flew right up next to that church there, which he didn't fly, he ran, which I'm later going to regret putting him in that position because I keep forgetting he can't fly over that building. He has to actually go around it because he's not a flying model. Then I did something right away here where I was just checking the distance of his cavalry there to make sure that I was outside of range, which I immediately, after I was done with turn 1, regretted my entire movement that I made on my left flank, his right side. I should have just gotten all of those units right up in his face right away and made him charge me. Because him charging me, as I'm soon to find out, is much better than getting shot to death the entire game. So he kind of funneled me right in through that church. I'm not gonna, sorry if I'm giving everything away right away, but man, this was really a bad move on my part. If there's anything I can learn from this game, it's be aggressive with your aggressive army. For whatever reason, I was thinking, oh, kingdoms of men, no big deal, you know. But this guy was a very good player. Devean, he knew his stuff. Devean, I don't know, however you say that. But anyway, he can correct me in the game or in the game notes or the YouTube notes below. So yeah, so I just kind of sat back with everything against a shooting army. I don't know what I was thinking, but yeah, this, as you can see, this is going to work out great for me. All right, so here's the top of turn 1 undead shooting. I just surged the skeletons forward, and I just left the zombies where they were. I should have just surged everything forward, but whatever. That was my turn, and then here is the bottom of turn 1 movement. He was very aggressive with those bowmen. He went ahead and just moved them forward. I wasn't really expecting that. I should have expected it, that he was just going to move forward and then take his shots. He also moved his berserkers up here, which I was okay with because I don't think he was expecting my shambling. The wraiths are shambling, so I can shamble over there and get in range and get a charge off on them. Then he was also getting his wizard ready to shoot at my skeletons and kind of move them up. He moved everything around a little bit and got ready for my zombies and my trolls to come up on the other side of that church. His other flank was just like, whatever, you didn't move very much, but you're in range. I was just inside range of his bowmen there, or his riflemen there, the guys on the right side. They've got some funny name that I can't pronounce, so I can't remember what they're called, but they're a really shooty unit that he actually took the +1 to hit for shooting artifact on that unit, so they were hitting on 4s, and then they were like piercing 2, so Most stuff they were wounding on 3s and 2s, so it was pretty brutal. So that's his movement, and here's his shooting phase. He put 6 points of damage on my werewolves already with all that shooting. He put 3 points of damage on my trolls, and then he put 4 points of damage of shooting on my skeletons. And a lot of this could have been much worse as well, because he he actually didn't hit at all with his catapults or his bolt throwers, so it was pretty weak. Actually, I think he did hit with 1 bolt thrower on the skeletons, combined with the other shooting. So that's about it. Not too bad there. Here's my movement in turn 2. I went ahead and just got up and threatened on that my left flank, his right side here, and kind of got my Lycanus up there. Probably something I should have done turn 1 was got them right up in his grill, but I didn't, and now I have 6 damage on my werewolves with a free turn of shooting to just light them up, and they're probably going to be either routed or wavered next turn just because of my stupidity there. I moved everything up on there in the center with the zombies and the trolls. I moved them up. My zombies are kind of in a pickle here with this church. I'm kind of trying to maneuver them way too close to that church, and I might box them in with my trolls, which is bad. My skeletons are slow as slow gets, so they just kind of trotted up there. I'm really not thinking that the taking skeleton regiments without some surge support is a great idea, but that's kind of what's going on here. They're very slow, and unless the enemy is coming to meet you, they're going to be kind of a unit that just trods back and gets shot and doesn't do much. My wraiths here, they got in position to be surged. I couldn't get them into the right position to make it a 1-inch surge, so I was just like, okay, I'll just make this a 2-inch surge, and if I don't roll 2 4-ups on my surge 6 with my Revenant King, you can just laugh at me. So they're in position to take on those berserkers, and he was at this point going, oh dang, I forgot about surge, but no big deal there. Here's the shooting. I did manage to surge those wraiths into his berserkers, which is great. I should be able to take care of them. Maybe not this turn, but next turn. I can at least put some good damage on those guys. I know they got a higher nerve, but they're easy to wound. And yeah, everything else is just kind of getting in position still. It's kind of slow going here, and he positioned himself well against me. So yeah, I'm slowly trotting across the table with an army that should already be in combat because of my poor movement decisions on turn 1. Okay, here is the top of turn 2 Undead combat. I managed to, at the end of combat, do 5 damage to his berserkers, but I rolled really low on nerve and didn't do anything to him. So he's going to be able to countercharge me next turn, put some damage on me. And I'm just kind of expecting a lot of bad things to happen once he gets his next volley of shooting off. Okay, here's turn 2, bottom of turn 2 for movement for the Kingdom's Men. Devean, he went ahead and decided to get right up in my grill. I'm pretty sure that he charged my Lycanus there, so it looks like there's a gap there, but I'm pretty sure he charged him. He went ahead and used his scouts to charge my zombies, and then his other dude actually just sat right outside of range and did not charge my trolls, which I found silly. I was like, if you can put damage on them, just put damage on them and charge them. But that's what he wanted to do. He went ahead and countercharged my wraiths, which I fully expected. And now they're going to get a whole bunch of attacks on me. And then everything else just kind of got in position to shoot again because he has lots of shooting. And then those other scouts kind of tried to get in the back of my lines here, which I think he also forgot about my shambling again. I'm going to do my best to get those skeletons turned around to take care of his scouts, but we'll see. Okay, here is the bottom of turn 2 shooting. He did plenty of shooting. He did more damage. He got my skeletons on that left side up to 7 damage. In the center there, he did a bunch of damage in shooting, and that's another reason why he did not choose to charge me, is because he wanted to shoot at me. That was actually very intelligent. So there I am, not getting charged by this guy, yet I'm going to have to charge him next turn, most likely. And he went ahead and put 9 damage on those trolls. Luckily, he didn't waver them or rout them, because I fully thought that they were going to be gone after that. And he went ahead and shot and wavered my werewolves, which, ouch, man. You know, that's tough. They're probably not going to be doing anything for the rest of the game. That's a big hit to my army when you can waver or rout my werewolves right off the bat. They're one of my favorite units to use in combat. There I go, giving away secrets of what I like to do with my army. So if you play me, kill my werewolves, and you'll probably see me cry. Okay, there you go. Turn 2, bottom of combat here for Kingdoms of Men. Here we go. They went ahead and put 5 damage on my wraiths. Didn't do much to them, but I'm okay with that. Everything else was damaged in shooting other than my zombies. His scouts managed to put a point of damage on him, so good for him. That was great. So yeah, that's what we're looking at the bottom of turn 2. And then the top of turn 3, here's my movement. I went ahead and countercharged his berserkers. I'm hoping I can finally finish them off. My skeletons went ahead and charged his bowmen there. I want to try and do something. They got 15 attacks hitting on 5s. I'm not expecting much, but who knows? They have 3-up defense. Maybe if I get some hits, I can do some damage there. My trolls, they just charged in on his sergeant there, his hero character on the horse there. And then my zombies countercharged his scouts. And over here on the right side, my left flank, his right, my werewolves pretty much knew at this point that they were pretty much going to get shot off the table next turn or charged by his leader character there and killed. So my soul reavers, they just decided to let the werewolves back up and charge his cavalry there. So I'm really hoping that I can have a good round of combat, take care of his cavalry and his knights there, and then move on to something else. Okay, here's the shooting phase, and I tried to Bane chant my zombies, and that did not happen. And then my Revenant King actually got into position there. I don't know if you saw that from last slide. He got in position there to be just within 12 inches of those skeletons so that he could surge them forward into the flank of those scouts there in the center of the board. I was able to do that. Also, this entire time, I've really underutilized my Vampire Lord. When I found out that he could not fly, which, I mean, I just needed to look at what I was taking. He kind of got stuck back behind that church for a couple turns. He went ahead and ran over. He ran through his own unit, because you can move through your own units, and he ran through them over to the center of the board to try and get, somewhere where he can do some good. He's probably just going to get shot to death, but at this point, I've obviously misused the Vampire Lord this game, because he should be in combat. He shouldn't be just running around the middle of the board doing nothing and being points ready to get shot at by the enemy. But at least we got that surge charge in on the flank of those scouts, so hopefully we'll be able to kill them. I've got plenty of combats here, and I'm hoping for the best. So here is the top of turn 3, end of combat. And as you can see, I did 9 damage to his berserkers. Not really rolling great onto hit rolls, even with the blessing of the gods giving them elite. I think I rolled like maybe 6 hits there, and rolled no ones to get any rolls off with elite, and then I only did 4 damage there. I was not even able to waver him. Really bad roll there. Kind of bummed that my wraiths didn't do anything. My skeletons actually did 5 damage to that bowman horde there, which I was really surprised by. They hit like champions. And then my skeletons there in the center, they did 3 damage and wavered that scouts unit, which was okay. I was hoping for something more with 30 attacks, but I think I actually hit less with that skeleton regiment than I did with the regiment charging hindered in the woods over there, which was hilarious because they needed 6s just to hit, and they still did more damage. Actually, both of those charges were hindered, so I needed 6s in both cases. Because even surging, I'm pretty sure going through terrain, at least that's the way we played it, you're still hindered if you go through terrain, even if you're surging. I only wavered his knights over here. I did 8 damage and wavered them. I rolled pretty poorly there on the route roll on the nerve test there with my soul reavers. So right now I've either wavered or done nothing to most of his units, and he's just getting the time he needs at this point. He's had several turns of shooting at me, and that big block of the riflemen there on the right side in the woods, those guys hit on 4s and then wound on 3s with anything defense 5s. So both of my units that are in his range right there, prime pickings for him to just shoot them apart. Kind of what he's been doing all game. That unit has been an MVP for him. And with my rolling and my poor decision making for maneuvers, I've just kind of left everything wide open for him to do what he wants. Now he's got everything in range with those war machines, those water buffalo things. They're gonna just charge the crap out of my army and kill quite a bit. So it's gonna be a bad turn for me here on the bottom of turn 3. I can already tell. All right, here's his movement for bottom of turn 3. He went ahead and charged back in with his berserkers into my wraiths. They only have 4 damage on him, so I'm really praying that they survive another turn. He's got a lot of attacks with those guys. His bowman and his water buffalo went ahead and charged my skeletons, and I can pretty much kiss them goodbye. His other water buffalo charged my trolls. They're already damaged enough to where they're probably going to die. My werewolves, sure enough, got charged by his general, and his general just needs to breathe on them and they'll rout, so I'm expecting that to be a thing. And then he's just going to have a field day shooting the crap out of my soul reavers at this point, so here it comes. This slide right here was me just showing how unlucky I was. He had done, I think, a total of 4 damage to my wraiths, or maybe it was like 5 damage, and then he rolled double 6s and routed them. So he rolled double 6s, routed my wraiths with his berserkers. So I kind of knew that this was the beginning of the end because I was hoping my wraiths would hold and then I could take out his berserkers next turn. But yeah, that was pretty crazy. So the rest of these combats are not going to end great for me either, but my wraiths was a big blow to me and pretty much the beginning of the end for this game. The rest of the combat for bottom of turn 3, as you can see, my skeletons melted, my trolls melted, everything melted. So there's what I have left. At this point, it's looking pretty bad because his entire left flank can now turn to fight the rest of my army. And the rest of my army is really in bad shape. So other than my zombies, which are going to definitely take revenge on that water buffalo. So here we go. Interesting thing of note, I think he had those 3 catapults, which he was making the comment, I didn't hit but once this entire game with those catapults. One time out of 18 shots, once out of 18 shots. So that's pretty ridiculous. But he didn't need it because he was able to kill me and shoot me apart. Here's the top of turn 4 undead movement. This is just me kind of playing the game out at this point. I mean, never give up, never surrender, right? But I charged his water buffalo with my Revenant King in the flank. I charged his scouts with my skeletons. I charged his other water buffalo with my vampire lord, who's finally doing something, and my zombies. And then I charged his knights again to try and finish them off with my soul reavers. Okay, here's the top of turn 4 undead combat. At the end, you can see that I did not do a darn thing to his water buffalo other than put 11 damage on it and not waver it. So that's just kind of how this game goes. It's pretty hilarious. I actually did manage to put 4 damage on his other water buffalo with my Revenant King, which was good job, Revenant King. You have 5 attacks and you did 4 damage. You're doing your job. Okay, the Soul Reavers finally finished off that unit of knights, but they're just kind of staring down these riflemen with piercing 2 that are hitting on 4s, wounding on 3s. Man, I'm just totally out of it this game. I'm gonna get shot to death. So, here's the bottom of turn 4. And I think we just I just skipped ahead to the results of that turn here. And because I was kind of like, well, we all know what's going to happen. He managed to shoot those Soul Reavers to death. My poor Soul Reavers. Here's something like more icing on the cake for him, which I found hilarious. He was able to put 1 damage on my Vampire Lord, and then with his Water Buffalo charging in with Crushing Strength 2 there. So he countercharges him, right? And then he put 1 damage on my Vampire Lord, and then he rolled a 12. Once again, the second roll of a 12 in the game for nerve, and he wavers my Vampire Lord. So that was hilarious. And then the Water Buffalo countercharged my Revenant King and managed to put 5 damage on him. At this point, I'm just like, okay, let's be a good sport and let him slaughter my army. All right, top of turn 5 movement. Yeah. So I just countercharged his Water Buffalo, moved my Vampire back, and charged in my Revenant King. Because that's all I have left at this point, other than skeletons that couldn't fit. Okay, here's the top of turn 5 combat phase. I killed his Water Buffalo with my zombies. Moral victory. And I think I put 2 more damage on his other Water Buffalo. And that was it. I keep calling them Water Buffaloes. I haven't even looked to see what the real name is. You guys can make fun of that. Water Buffaloes. Go Water Buffaloes. All right. So then the Revenant King got wavered at the end of the game. Here's, well, actually, this is just bottom of turn 5. We got another turn of this crazy wonderfulness. So he wavered my Revenant King, and then he just kind of shot at and moved to turn to shoot the rest of my units, and he missed with everything because he was laughing at his catapults because they suck. Okay, at least this game they did. My next turn, I charged in with my my zombies on his catapult, and my Revenant King sat there because he's wavered, and everything else just kind of moved up. My Vampire Lord did a whole lot of nothing this game. I don't like taking vampires that can't fly, so I'm probably going to take either Wings of the Honey Maze, or I'm going to take a Vampire Lord on a Dragon from now on, because not being able to fly is not my style with vampires. Let me just tell you that much. Okay, so there was that. Here's the end of combat. I killed his catapult. Moral victory. Yay. All right. And then here's the bottom of turn 6. His movement. He went ahead and charged my Revenant King and did all sorts of terrible things to him. And here is the end of the game, pretty much. He shot the crap out of my Necromancer and wavered him. He killed my Revenant King, and then the rest of my army just kind of sat there and survived. I think he had something like 1,200 points left, and I had 600 or something. So it was a pretty major victory on his part. He was really able to just utilize his shooting really well, do lots of damage to all my units. I was trotting across the table and just did not do well at all. This was a learning game for me for sure, but it was a lot of fun. And you know, it's always good to get your mistakes out of the way, and I love Universal Battle playing these games just because every once in a while you play against a really good player like Devean. Not that everybody I play isn't a good player, but this guy particularly knew how to use his army, and with a little luck and some rolls of 12, he was able to neutralize my good units. And, you know, I think he just definitely outplayed me this game. So I'll have to try again, and hopefully I can play him again and get a rematch in. And I'm going to tweak my army a little bit more. I think the skeletons, I did not give them enough surge support. And a lot of my army was slower. and I did not use my Vampire Lord to the best of his ability at all. It was pretty bad use of him on my part. Anyway, looks like I've hit the 30 minutes mark, which I'm trying to get all of my battle reports down to 30 minutes so that they're not too long now. So thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time. And congrats to Devean on his, or Devean, or however you say it, you can correct me again, on his win against my Undead. They will lick their wounds and come back to fight again another day, because they're undead, and they are already dead, so they just get back up. All right. Have a good one. Bye.